You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is a June 24th special meeting of the LaPorte County Election Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call this meeting to order. LaPorte County Election Board, June 24th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. John Lake.
Present.
Heather Stevens.
Present.
And Brody Schaffner. I am present. We have a quorum. Are there any corrections to the agenda?
Not from me.
I would make a motion to have a discussion under old business, new business. I don't know, this board has changed since the last conversation, but a discussion about a Facebook page for the board. Just some kind of social media, something, just so that we can get information out, be it to candidates, to voters, whatever it is.
So under new business?
That's fine.
You gonna be on? Do you want to discuss it while you're here?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Let's put it under.
Put it 7B.
Yeah.
Okay.
7B.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any other corrections? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Any corrections to the April 12th, 2024 minutes?
I wasn't here for any of those meetings, so I won't vote on any of that.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, okay.
any corrections to the May 2nd or May 17th meeting minutes?
No, none.
Okay. So those will be adopted. Time for public comment.
Katama Goot Logwood, 104 West Green Lawn Drive, LaPorte, Indiana, 46350. My central issue here is, I think most people realize that I am the complainant on the Civic Club, which is on the agenda here today. I was the one that reported the transpirings. My central issue standing here before you today is the chair of LaPorte County's, the newly elected chair of LaPorte County's appointment of John Lake and removal of Teresa Massey from this board. You do not, and this is new to me as well, you do not have to be an attorney to be appointed to this governing body of the election board. You do, however, have to be a Democrat if you are going to be appointed by the Democratic chair. I'm currently wondering how the chairman of the party now is not, under state Democratic rules, not calling a review committee to review the action of said committee people, namely John Lake, who openly in open forum endorsed a member of another party of this primary, who went as far to do that in the newspaper and put signs up in their yard. In prior history, not that long ago, that would have been considered disloyalty and would get you kicked off of your precinct committee person role. And yet here we stand, and not only is that not happening, but he is now appointed to defend Democrats and what appears to be it's going to cause ethical issues. Both John and Mary were intertwined with the happenings of day to day within the Civic Club. Mary being a longstanding officer, there's a matter of a $1,500 contribution, whereas if you were operating as an below the $5,000 budget of a auxiliary organization, that extra $500 on top of that $1,000 is not disallowed. If it was allowed, then, where are the PAC filings? And if there was, there's a lot of investigation that needs to be done. This seems to be somewhat of a double down to create a kangaroo court here. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Hearing none, let's move on to old business. The Democratic Civic Club. I believe we asked, is anybody here for the Democratic Civic Club? Mr. Sirnick.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Hello. Good, how are you?
All right. I'm here today to represent the Civic Club and specifically Mr. Kimmel. First is that we are withdrawing the objection that he filed with this commission on June 12, 2024. However, we are also saying, though, that pursuant to 3-6-4.1-19, subsection C, a witness who is subpoenaed on this section is entitled to be paid the same mileage fee as witnesses in court actions as a matter of rules in civil procedures, and assuming this is a civil matter, the witness fee should accompany a subpoena. So once we have affirmed that he's entitled to the witness fee, and also section C goes on to say mileage should also be being reimbursable. Once we can affirm that under the record, we will set about complying with the subpoena request.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. Do you?
No.
Okay. I could make it really easy. Where does the Democratic Civic Club bank at?
We'll take care of that. I don't know. We'll take care of that, though, within the next 30 days once we receive the $5 payment.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
And for the record, I'm abstaining since I'm a member of the club.
Okay.
That's why I have no involvement in that.
Do you have a proxy?
No, I was just appointed, so
Sure.
no, I don't have a proxy.
Okay.
I will get one though,
Okay.
for whenever the next thing is scheduled.
Sure.
I think Teresa may do it, but I'm not
Okay.
sure. I asked her today.
Well, that was quick. Moving on to the Facebook page. I'm in favor of it. I don't want to run it. I don't have any other social media, so just
I think that's fair. I think that I think it would be Taylor for the most part, and I want to make sure that you're good with that. And it's something that we've talked about for the last couple of years. This is not, and I want to make it very clear that this will not be for campaign purposes for anybody. This is strictly to get information out to candidates and to voters. That's it.
Sounds good to me if you're doing it for voting purposes of where the
Yes.
van's gonna be and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
all right. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. I'm going to introduce my proxy. Actually, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Katie Bowen, proxy for Brody Shop. Oh, wait. She's using my
Oh, can you turn that on?
Katie Bowen, proxy for Brody Schaffner.
So I'm going to be stepping down the rest of this meeting. I do just want to say, welcome, John. John, I've known John for a long time, and he actually hired me on the prosecutor's office, so he taught me a lot of what I know, and is partially responsible for how I am the way today. So, he actually, one of your favorite quotes that I'll say is, seek the truth, and the justice will follow. So, I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Just before you step down, because we haven't had a chance to talk about procedures and stuff. I know the old business, the Democratic Civic Club, was just an investigation, correct? So that would have been under the subsection 15 of the code. When you're doing the complaint procedures, are we going to be following the ALJ? I just want to know if we're following administrative code for those, where we're sitting as ALJs, administrative law judges.
So, it was my understanding that the only time we had to do that was when there was money involved
I'm saying what we're going to be doing for the fines.
for the fines. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because I just want to know when we're doing this
Yes.
new business, what rules we're going to be complying with, so that if the attorneys raise issues,
Right.
I want to make sure that I know that the board, that's what we're doing, is we're going to be following the administrative code under 421.5.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. So with that, I'll leave you to it.
just so everyone is aware and comfortable, both members have been sworn in, so everything's been filed with the clerk's office.
Do you have a packet, Katie? I'll leave you mine.
Thank you. Just 1 second. All right, next on the agenda is Rodney McCormick campaign finance hearing.
Hello,
Afternoon, sir.
Rodney McCormick.
Mr. McCormick, thank you for attending today. We have a hearing notice for today's date that was originally dated June 11th, 2024. Marking this as Exhibit 1, entering into the record. Additionally, we have a notice from Taylor Van Sickle, December 14th, 2023, reminding of the need to file the campaign finance report, marking as Exhibit 2 to enter into the record. And we have a CFA 4 for the committee to elect Rodney. I apologize, Mr. McCormick, is it for us?
Yes.
Okay, for us. Marking this as Exhibit 3 to enter into the record.
I'm going to object to you entering that into the record. I have the right to see those before you enter those into the record.
Mr. McCormick, would you like to approach?
Yes.
Showing you what is marked at the bottom as Exhibit 1, it's a notice of hearing. Do you recognize the notice?
Yes.
Okay,
No objection to Exhibit 1.
thank you. Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 2. Document reminding of deadline to file.
No objection to Exhibit 2.
Thank you. Lastly, showing you CFA 4.
No objection.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick.
Exhibit 3.
The CFA 4 shows a filing date of February 5th, 2024, stamped by the clerk's office. The CFA 4 was due on January 17th, 2024. Taylor, how many days late would that be?
20.
Thank you. And Mr. McCormick, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I know.
Thank you. And this is your opportunity to defend.
Yes. First of all, I'm going to object to this hearing as well. Back in March, fines was handed out by the election board. No one received notice. My 14th Amendment, my due process rights was violated. I was fined $950 at the time, and no one was aware of any hearing taking place. And I was not, I also wasn't privy to coming in to argue my case. I'm going to also object because I also had a right to take this to circuit court and argue before the judge. This is not a harmless error. This is a fundamental error. You have the right to be heard before any fines or anything is levied against you. And I believe that the circuit court would have ruled in my favor, and they could have just as probably just threw it out. Or they could have also remanded it back, but I think they would have threw it out. So for you guys to try to self-correct your error, it violates my due process right for my appeal to be heard on the original one. So you take away my defense by just, oh, we made big mistakes, so here we are. We just give everybody a new hearing. So with that being on the record, I will move forward.
I've got one question. Was a notice ever sent to the committee to elect Rodney for us that you had missed the filing deadline?
No.
Okay.
To speak on that, I have 30 days to send notice, and he filed on February 5th. So up until February 9th, that's candidate filings, and that's my primary focus.
I didn't file nothing on February the 5th. So with that being said, if I may just go ahead and start. I received notice from Heather Stevens that I need to turn in a financial report, and it was prior to the 17th. I want to say maybe a week or so. She gave me the paperwork here at the courthouse, and I took it home, and I let it sit there for maybe 3 or 4 days, and I called my campaign finance person to have her come over and help me fill it out. And she filled the paperwork out, and on the 17th, I filed it using my email address, mlkcbball@yahoo.com. I filed it on the 17th. I thought it was filed, I thought it was done, and it was over with. I don't know if I heard from Ms. Van Sickle. I don't know who I heard from, or it was me that initiated a call 2 weeks later, or within that, somewhere in that period of time, asking did they receive it, or I was told they didn't receive it, and I told them that I sent it to them by email. I was kind of I was very upset with Ms. Stevens. I thought, here we go, some more, let's go after Rodney's nonsense, right? So I said I will call my campaign person, and she will send it from her address. 2 days later, on the 5th, she sent it back in using her email address. And they did receive it because we received a file stamp copy back. My original filing was filed directly on the 17th. And I did indicate that to the clerk. And I told her that I don't know what's going on, but I filed it. I would like to call a witness at this time to come before me, before this board, and let her, put her under oath and let her ask some questions.
Mr. McCormick, can I ask you 2 questions before
Yes.
you proceed?
Yes.
Did you also receive a notice of hearing that was dated March 11th, 2024 to appear before the selection board on April 12th, 2024 at 12 p.m.?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I received a lot of notices, but I can't just outright just say that, yes.
Okay.
I asked for a continuance too, by the way. Yes.
And then I was just going to ask you that as well. There is an email from the email address that you just read into the record indicating your request for a continuance, and that was sent to both Ms. Stevens and Ms. Van Sickle.
Yes.
Is that the emails that you were
Yes.
speaking about? Okay, thank you.
What email did you file it with on the 17th of January?
T Van Sickle at LaPorteCounty.Indiana.gov. And I also CC'd Ms. Stevens in it. And this is not the first time, Ms. Stevens, we had problems with our emails back and forth. This is not the first time this has happened. This is clearly not the first time. And like I said before, my credibility, I don't have no reason to lie or whatever. It's just a fine. But it was wrong because I filed it, and I let Ms. Stevens know that I did it, and here we are today. 19 days out. She said 20, I think it was 19 a day or whatever. And I was given this ridiculous fine and was not given a hearing, and now we here again to start this all over again and rehash this. So I would like to call Martell Williams, my campaign manager, to testify.
Okay.
Ms. Williams? Or
Can you please state your name for the record?
Marteel Williams.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hand to her, I think you got it marked as 3, the CFA 4 form. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Is that your handwriting? Did you fill out this form?
Yes. I filled out this form.
What day did we file it? After you filled this out, after you completed it, what day did you see me put it in the computer and file it? Or email it, I'm sorry.
The day that I completed it and that you filed it was January 17th.
And then at some point in time, there was a conversation that they didn't receive it, correct?
Correct.
Can you elaborate on that?
Initially, no news was probably good news, but after a while, it got a little longer. So, I'm not sure who reached out to who, but he called me at work to tell me that it had not been received and that it needed to be sent again. So I sent it from work the second time, and that was February 5th.
And how did you send that?
I sent it from my email, which was, I think it was the marteelproperties@gmail.com. I think that's the one it came from.
And are you 100% sure we sent this out? You see me send this out electronically on the 17th?
I saw you scan it and send it. Yeah.
I have no questions of my witness. So.
The members have questions.
Yeah, so the form was filled out by Mr. McCormick prior to January 17th, or was it filled out on the 17th and filed that day?
It was filled out. It was filled out on the 17th and filed that day.
Okay.
And I filled it out.
And the intent was always to file this, it was, I mean, on that day.
Well, yeah, to make sure that we met that deadline. So, because I live in Illinois, so I wanted to make sure that we met the deadline of the 17th. So I made sure that it was completed and sent. That's why I stayed there to make sure that he sent it at that time.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Do you have any questions?
I don't. I do remember this. Typically, and I will state that typically when somebody emails their campaign finance reports to us, because you can do that, Taylor immediately prints it off, date stamps it, and returns a copy to you. Did you get anything stating that it had failed to send to me, or the email address was incorrect or anything?
From my email, no.
Because I never did receive it.
No, as far as I know, because it was sent originally from his email address. So no, not that I know of. After it was sent on the 5th, then I realized it's a really quick turnaround process because she was able to stamp it and get it right back to me. But no, we didn't receive anything.
Do you have any proof of email transmission from the 17th or the few days later that you resent it?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Okay.
Jesus. There we go.
Mr. McCormick, do you have any other questions of your witness?
No.
Okay. You may sit down. Thank you.
I would like to ask Ms. Van Sickle a question or two, if possible.
Any objection?
No.
None.
Let's do it.
Prior to filing this and saying that you did not receive it, did you check your spam mail?
Yes, I have.
Did you check junk?
Yep. I typed in your email address to search all of my folders.
And the same question for Ms. Stevens as well.
Yes,
Questions.
I did the same.
And is this the first time I ever had problems with sending emails to you?
No.
My intent was to file at the last second because my campaign manager she don't live in Michigan City. She lives all the way in Illinois. She had to come here. It took a little extra time, but it was filed on the 17th. I just really find this troubling because here, when you guys the election board gave themselves a do-over, you guys realize that you violated everybody's due process rights, and then you come and put everybody back in here and give us a hearing. And you said, hey, we got to bring you back in here because we didn't give you no hearing. So we made a mistake, but you're not allowed to make a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. It was sent on the 17th. But the problem here is if you are able to violate my constitutional right and give yourself a mulligan, why come I can't have the same done for me? This board should have considered everybody else that was involved. And when it comes to handing out a fine, those fines should be levied to those individuals who have filings. I believe Ms. Stevens said some of them go back 5 years. They haven't filed nothing, done nothing. To levy this penalty on me, I think it's grossly it's wrong and it's too harsh, and it should not happen. But I say again, if you can violate my due process rights and ask for forgiveness and move on and then come right back in here and have a hearing and pretend as if nothing ever happened, is wrong. If you give yourself a pass, you should give me and everyone else that was involved with that a pass as well. I'm just going to close with this as I don't believe that the clerks are lying. I don't think in the past I thought a lot of people were against me, and to a degree that's still the case. But here, this is an honest mistake, or the transmission didn't go through. Whatever it was no big deal because Ms. Stevens gave me the paperwork and told me to make sure I do it on this before the 17th, and I did that. I never had a problem filing paperwork ever before, and here we are. Any questions?
Just one. So your argument is basically that this would be an unjust result under the circumstances because you had filed it, or that was your intent to file it. You dated it the 17th. You emailed it from your campaign manager, and you're asking the board to either waive the penalty or reduce it.
That will be an alternative. I'm asking for it to be dismissed because I filed it on the 17th. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm sorry that we are here. I mean, but at this point, that's what it is. And an alternative, yes, just waive the fine or fees or whatever you're going to do. Again, if I would have took this before the circuit court in the beginning and didn't have to come to this board and went to the circuit court, I'm sure the judge would have threw it out because there's a clear violation of the 14th Amendment. Clear. We have a right to due process, like it or not. And it doesn't apply just to criminal cases. It also applies to these incidents as well. Thank you.
So, Mr. McCormick, did you ever receive anything stating, did you receive an order from the county election board stating that you had been assessed a fine and to what that fine was?
I'm not for sure. I know I was out of town and I received a lot of phone calls that me and Sean Fitzpatrick got hit pretty hard, so.
Those orders were not sent out until the hearings had been held. So just so that that's on the record.
And the reason, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, there was fines, people was asked to pay fines, correct?
We did not accept any money for those fines until the hearings had been held.
But a ruling was made. Even though nobody paid their fines, their ruling was made. And then somebody must have called somebody, election board maybe, Indiana, and said, hey, you can't do that without giving people their due process rights. So here, my right to appeal, my right to win, my defense to where I would have certainly won in court has been taken away because I'm back in here again.
You've not had your hearing. Your hearing is today because you asked for a continuance. So you would have 30 days to appeal.
The original one would be wiped out. The original failure to give my due process rights on the original ruling, I believe from March, would have been wiped out. So now I'm here and we rehashing this. And I took up enough of your time. I didn't make a mistake. It was sent on the 17th. If the 17th is late, then I did it. I sent it late, but I didn't.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Any other questions for me?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, Mr. McCormick, thank you.
I don't know. And it's acceptable to file electronically, right?
It is.
Yeah.
The only issue was that it was not received on our end.
Right. I get that, and I kind of look at the mailbox rule kind of situation where I don't know how that applies to election board stuff. But I'm to the point where I'm like, these big fines, and I know that the statute's been changed where they have to shall, and we have to give this, and you don't really get any discretion, because it used to be that they would reduce fines, and we're finding people thousands of dollars over minor little things, in my opinion.
Right.
So I'm not going to vote in favor of a finding that he violated. That's my opinion. Or I'm going to vote for that's unjust and we reduce it or waive it in this circumstance. Because I just think I get what we're trying to do, make everyone comply with the rules, but we're getting to the point where we're getting nitpicky. And then the one question I have for the board is, how far is our statute of limitations? I look at it as, when if it's not a intentional or knowingly fraudulent report, that would be a felony. Everything else is a misdemeanor crime. And for a misdemeanor, the statute of limitations is 2 years. So I look at it as, we really can't go back beyond 2 years, but I don't know if there's anything from the...
We didn't.
No, and I'm not saying we did.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear. When I said let's go back to those that have been open 5 years, 6 years, and let's get them closed, we did not issue fines to those. We just notified everybody so that they would close them, because otherwise there was a whole process that Taylor and I were going to have to go through in order to close them ourselves. So that was simply let's get it done.
I'm just trying to,
they weren't,
because I'm just new to the board, so I'm just trying to figure out where we're looking at, how far back we're going to go, and I'm thinking a 2 year cycle is rolling 2 year cycles we look back on, unless obviously there's something you refer to the state police for an investigation for a crime. But in this situation, like I said, my opinion is if we have evidence that on one side we didn't receive it from Taylor, and then we have the evidence that they sent it. And so I know how that happens. Sometimes things don't go through the email. And so I'm to the opinion of, I just, whatever you want. I told you how I'm going to vote, so you guys decide what you want to do.
I think I'd like to do what we did for everybody else that was in basically the same boat as Mr. McCormick. This would have been $1,000 fine. I think I would like to assess the fine, but reduce the fine to the same $200 fine that everybody else got. And again, this is not a board that has typically enforced the campaign finance laws, and we started this year, so we have tried to give everybody a bit of a break. So that would be my motion.
Is that your motion?
So it basically that the maximum civil penalty in this case would be unjust under the circumstances, and so that we can assess a fine of $200.
Yes.
All right, I would go with that.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. And there's no way to vote or to file this stuff through like the way we file criminal or civil or any other filings, normal filings.
There are ways that other counties have. It's quite expensive.
Oh, I was just gonna say, other than email. So, because I was just saying that would give us the proof so that people know. But I never liked filing electronically because I never.
Well, and that's why Taylor and I both do it. If Taylor's not here, I'll do it. We immediately print that off, we date stamp it, we initial it, we send it back to you so that you know we've got it.
Okay. And then are you gonna alert him of his appeal rights or whatever? And do we have to alert him of his appeal rights?
Yeah, he'll get an order.
Oh, he'll get an order with the rights. Okay.
Mr. McCormick, there will be an order mailed to you, and it will include all of the rights you have for appeal. Okay. You're welcome. Next on the agenda, we have committee to elect Mike Rosenbaum campaign. Do you have any notices for this.
I have got nothing there.
They're not in the packet that was left here.
Yeah, that's
Taylor says yes.
that's that.
Good afternoon. If you could give us just one moment, please. Thank you.
That's that one.
Email wrong, so then I had to send it.
Do you have the actual notices with you? In the CFA, he didn't leave it here. The only thing that he left was for.
Oh, he didn't have that because he wasn't going to hear it.
Oh, okay.
So you want?
Wasn't in
Are you
either.
talking about?
What do we?
Is that what you're after?
Yes, and the CFA for.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. So
You guys don't have any of this?
No,
no, all I have is this thing.
Oh.
right.
So these are all available online.
Printed them, but they're written on,
Like
so I
you
just wanted
are-
clean copies in case
Yeah.
we needed
You
them.
guys are welcome to them.
Perfect.
If I could just take a look at them,
Absolutely.
so I know what the hearing's about.
I'd like to know too.
You want to see them too, or you have them? I will.
I have the notice of hearing. That's all I have.
Of the what?
The notice of hearing. That's what was emailed to me.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I got it by mail too,
Yes.
with your nice seal on it. Official like.
Good afternoon. Could you please share your name?
Sure, my name is Guy DiMartino. I represent the committee to elect Michael Rosenbaum. We were here in May asking for a continuance because Mr. Rosenbaum was working that day. And then we received this notice of hearing. And when we were here in May, I understood that there were some questions that that you all wanted to inquire about regarding Mr. Rosenbaum's CFA. So then we received this notice of hearing, and in the notice of hearing, I don't quite understand what statute you all are moving forward under, because the notice of hearing says notice of hearing. The agenda does not have a notice of hearing on it. So is this an inquiry, an investigation to clear up some questions, or is this a hearing?
I'm going to have to refer to Taylor because I think that this is something that she and Brody worked on and I had not seen it.
Okay, and I'm just, Mr. Rosenbaum's here, he'll answer your questions, but I guess I don't understand how, under what statutory authority this hearing is.
And that's what I was asking Brody earlier, because is this an investigation? So then
That's what I think, I think that you have some questions, you hear the inquiry, and that this is not a
so yeah,
hearing.
so this would be, is this under 39415?
I have no idea.
A notice should state
I know.
what statute.
Well, so at the last meeting that we had when we had the continuance, it was discussed and the board said, let's set this for hearing. We're going to email back and forth to figure out a date that would work. Someone figured out a date that would work, and then I was told to send a notice of hearing. When I asked for advice on what to put in that, I was at that point no longer allowed to receive information from Brody because he had a conflict. So then we're here.
Listen, we're here to answer questions. I just want to understand.
Well, I think we need to establish that
Yeah, because
ourselves.
it just changes the tenor.
Right.
It does, and it changes what rules apply and that, everything else.
That's all I want.
Right.
And I'm going to sit down.
Yeah. No. I think this is a proceeding as an investigation under 3-9-4-15, which applies to hearings by the election board, where we can have a member of the commission,
Correct.
May conduct a hearing or an investigation, take evidence, report back. And it's kind of, this is a little bit different because it's not,
It's all three instead of appointing one.
right, and it's not a normal investigation that
Right.
because we're a board sitting here asking questions. I think that's what it's under. So it's not going to be the administrative law code will not apply the 4-21.5 and all the provisions.
And I'm good with
Yes.
that, and I'm gonna sit down, and you can ask Mr. Rosenbaum.
Yeah, we'd still put them under oath and ask them
Yes,
questions.
correct.
You have the right to object to it
yeah.
as his attorney.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
For
Okay,
the record, do you want to make a motion that this is going to be heard under 3-9-4-15 so it's clear?
Yes, I'll also move that.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rosenbaum, can you please state your name for the record?
Name is Mike Rosenbaum, or Michael Rosenbaum is the given name.
Thank you.
Can I swear him in?
Oh, yes. Can you please raise your right hand? Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, we've established that the notice has already gone out. We talked to Mr. DiMartino about the notice. Notice of hearing dated, June 11th, 2024 for hearing today at 1 p.m. Mr. Rosenbaum is present with his attorney, marking the notice of hearing as Exhibit 1 for the record. Any objection?
no.
Thank you. Okay. We also have before us CFA 4 with a filing date of January 23rd, 2024 for an annual period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. As well as a pre-election CFA for the period for this is January 1st, 2024 through April 12th, 2024, and this is filed April 17th, 2024. Marking them respectively Exhibit 2 and Exhibit 3 for the record. Mr. DiMartino, any objection?
No.
Thank you. Okay, members of the board, do you have questions for Mr. Rosenbaum?
Excuse me, ma'am, may I just?
Yes.
The original report for 2023 was amended and filed months ago. And I do not believe you have a copy of it, and I brought a stamped copy, a copy of a stamped copy with me. And that would answer probably a lot of your questions. May I present it to you?
Please.
You are correct. We don't have that.
No. Taylor, you do not have that?
I mean, I would have to check. I don't have my binders with me, but
Okay.
And this is the one that's not available electronically either.
Correct.
No, I was shocked to find that out
Yes.
because when I was asked about a hearing, and I looked to see what you had online, and it wasn't online. It was bothering me, so I made sure I had a copy with me.
So you can imagine our questions.
Well, I can, and but
Right.
let's go with what you want to ask, and I will answer.
Okay, so for the record, this is the original CFA 4. Reporting period is January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. It has a file stamp from the clerk's office dated April 3rd, 2024. It is dated by the treasurer and candidate March 20th of 2024. And this one indicates this is an amendment.
Mhm.
It is 6 pages in total,
Take a look at it.
marking this as Exhibit 4. Mr. DiMartino, can we maintain this copy up here for the members to see?
Yes, but let's make sure everybody has a copy because
Yes.
I think this will answer your questions.
Excellent.
Marked as Exhibit 4 for the record.
Would you like me to go make copies?
If you would, thank you.
We can make them right here.
Can I see
The 2 and 3?
Yeah.
I learned how to work this one.
Try to wake it up.
Oh, this thing's terrible. Could we take a brief recess to get some copies made?
Yes, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Mr. Rosenbaum, if you want to have a seat, feel free. Heather,
Ready,
can you
Ed?
turn that back on?
I'm ready, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
And this thing never shuts off, so.
Okay, back on. We're continuing with committee to elect Mike Rosenbaum campaign, and Mr. Rosenbaum is before the board. Thank you. Okay. Board members, any questions for Mr. Rosenbaum?
Not with regard to the expenses on the amended or the original from me.
No, so this is for last year.
What are you looking at?
So this was due this year, but for last year's reporting. Okay, no, I don't have any questions about that.
Mr. Rosenbaum, the amended that we marked as Exhibit 4 at the bottom,
Yes.
it includes the Schedule A1 that we didn't have initially in the
Yes.
online file. So does this CFA 4 now include all of the contributions you received over $100
Yes.
for that calendar year?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Rosenbaum, do you know who you gave this to?
I stated before that
Okay, you just
Came
don't
up to the
remember giving
counter.
this one?
she came up, she took it immediately, stamped it. I always bring the extra copy to get stamped, and that's what happened.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And from there, I don't know what the busy day was like.
Got it. Thanks.
Well, the original, is there an explanation for why the original didn't have the itemized, and everything was put as unitemized?
Yes?
Okay, do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, it's actually, I use Horizon Bank, and anything over 6 months, you cannot see the detail anymore. I had an event in June where I did most of the fundraising. You'll see most of the dates, 6/13, right around then. And so for the deposit slips and stuff. So what happened was I couldn't get the detail. Now, normally, I always make copies of everything. Just so happened that that week some important things happened in my life and I misplaced the file.
It's fair.
And I do note when was the original supposed to have been filed? Because this is the annual, you weren't running for office.
No, it was
23.
not. It was supposed to be filed on the 17th. I'm just repeating what I've heard before and what I heard at the last hearing was part of the last hearing. And there was a fine assessed.
Okay. That's already been done?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what the issues are, so.
And yes, the filing deadline posted is June 17th, 2024 for the 2023 calendar year.
Okay. I have no more questions about his amended.
You have any further
No,
questions?
I don't have any.
And,
Do you have any questions of Mr. Rosenbaum?
no.
Okay. So when I was here in May, I attempted to discuss these issues with the chair, just to find out what your all's concern was. And I felt like I was stonewalled in order, and so then we had to come back today. Like I said the last time, I believe that there's an issue with this, and so I'm a little bit offended in that regard, and that's all I need to say about it. Thank you.
Yeah, you can understand that without this, there were questions.
But for people who used to do traditional filing, he was smart enough to go and get a file stamp copy like all us old-time lawyers. So the two matters that we're here about today has to be have an issue with transmittal of information. So we need to try to lock this down. Thank you very much.
Is that, so the issue was just the way
Well, Mr. McCormick's was the transmittal of information. The issue with me? There was no, in my view, I always try to act collaboratively, and there was no collaboration. It was like you against this. And that's just the air that I received, whether it was my issue or not, but that's just the air that I received. And it shouldn't be like that, being an administrative body in the county. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
As it relates to the agenda item, what's the pleasure of the board?
I think I do have one quick question. You had an event on Wednesday, March 20th of this year. Is
We're completely done. Yes,
Yeah, 2023
Yes, I had an event. Yes, I did have an event.
Okay, and is
20th.
that itemized on your campaign finance report?
Everything that happened between the beginning of the year and April 12th, including that event, is on here.
All right, thank you. Then I'm good.
I have no questions.
Okay, and as it was decided that we are having the hearing under code section and not as an administrative,
Right, it's just as an investigative hearing.
correct? No decision needs to be made, nothing needs to be voted on.
That's correct.
Okay, just making sure everyone
think
is
I just-
clear as to what we're doing. We just
Correct.
We just
needed the
included our
additional information, so
Yeah.
we thank you, Mr. Rosenbaum.
I would state that if we were a little bit more collaborative, it could have been handed to you or reminded that it was on file or should have been on file. And then we wouldn't be wasting anybody's time right now and racking up a legal bill for me.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you.
that, the comments, thank you.
Thank you. Board member comments?
Welcome, John.
Thanks.
I'll keep mine pretty brief. We had a lot of new stuff come in today. So I think we've been talking about this for a few years now, that come this general election, every single one of our voting machines will have that VVPAT attached to it, that voter verifiable paper audit trail. So a lot of you were in here when all the ruckus was going on next door. They were moving the cases in, and so you're going to see some changes to the elections. This was not a decision made by myself or by the board. This was mandated by the state of Indiana. So bear with us, and I'm sure it'll all be fine.
Just thanks for the welcome to the board. I met with Teresa today, and she gave me that's one of the reasons I was a little bit late, because I was trying to go through all the documents and everything she gave me, and then realized what time it was and got stuck by the train. So I apologize to everyone for the late start of the morning to the meeting. But I will just say that I'm very well aware, as the former prosecutor, having been a prosecutor for 30 years, been an attorney for 33 years, I'm very well aware of what my ethical obligations are. Notre Dame Law School teaches you what ethics are, and I will comply with that fully. But there are some things that I'm looking forward to. The board, I don't believe that this board should be used as a sword, and that's kind of my philosophy has always been to try and promote positive elections. We have too much negativity on social media, and I normally don't respond. Occasionally I do when I get my dander up a little bit, but I just generally think that there's too much misinformation, too many people who are not trained in the law or have enough knowledge that they're connecting dots that don't connect. And as a prosecutor, I've always said, bring me the evidence and, provide it to us, and as a board or whoever, go to the state police if you think that somebody's committed a crime. And so, I look forward to this. I think the board is trying to do it, and it is kind of irritating that the state set us up where we shall max out fines and give it, shall make a fine unless it's unjust. And I just don't see where we have people like are running for school board or something like this. These small positions, or people are older, want to get involved, and you're penalizing them, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I really don't care what party you are. I want people who are voting. I think that if we have a positive community, then people vote for who they think is they're going to do the best job, and you do that. So I really don't like that aspect of it, of hammering people when they're just trying to get involved and they turn around and all of a sudden they don't know the rules. That's kind of our obligation, I think, a little bit, is to let people know what the rules are, but also to try and, there's no, I'm not here to get you or got you or whatever. I really don't care, but if I've always been a person who's been fair and always ethical, and that's what I'm going to continue to be on the board. So appreciate it.
And I'm Brody's proxy today, as you all know, so I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be part of the meeting for the county. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.